So the next section that I'll go into in a bit more detail, because obviously it's very important, is creating your volunteer opportunities for them to be live on the website and for people to find them. So once your organisation's been approved, you can kind of log back in to the website and get a bit familiar with how you can navigate your way around. So you'll log in, you can again go to maybe your lovely face in the corner, click on to your organisation, which will come in a drop down underneath, and then you'll see your profile. You can see a kind of sidebar. And I think my tip would be that this is one of the best ways to find your way around your profile. So just have a bit of a look in all of these areas to get familiar with it. But some that are quite important: activities. This is where you can go to add your volunteer activities and to see interest in activities as well and what you have live. People is about who looks after your profile. So that's where you can go to add colleagues who might also manage volunteer roles. And then settings is a good one to have a look at, because that's about all your getting your email notifications and where you can go to edit various things as well. So worth having a little look at. But for your volunteer opportunities, you go to activities, as I said, on the left, and then you can click on add activity at the top with that big kind of grey button, and that will take you to a form that you can complete. So first of all, you're asked about the title of your volunteer opportunity. So it may be that you already have names for your roles, or you might not, but try and have your volunteer role to be titled quite clearly so it relates to what they're going to be doing. Try and make it something that will kind of interest people, just so that they're really clear about what it is you're looking for. Location, so that's to do with where the activity will take place, whatever they will be doing. If the location is important, so for example, they might be volunteering online, you can select anywhere. So that gives people clear information that it's going to be a very flexible role. You're also asked for a summary about the opportunity. So this is really about getting across in a sentence what the volunteer will be doing within the role and why it will be really important to you, or the difference that they'll be making. So you can just give this sentence. So you do want it to be enthusiastic, very clear, easy to read. You then also have kind of what kind of opportunity would you like to create. So this is all about how much time somebody would be given, or the way that they will be volunteering. So I've got a little breakdown of this for you. But the nice thing about this section of the website is, if you can't remember what these different icons mean, you can click on the I'm not sure button and it gives you these definitions. You've got task, which is very much a kind of one-off thing, no specific time. So it might be filling out surveys or helping in someone's garden. You have events that might be more relevant to kind of stewarding a half marathon. Project role, which could be something someone's going to be involved in maybe over Christmas because you've got a higher need. And then organisation role, which is that kind of ongoing role where you'd like someone to volunteer on a kind of more regular basis. And this element is quite important because, again, it links to how a volunteer will find you, because they may very clearly think, I just want to do something once, or I want to be involved in a longer term commitment. And then you have a section where you can add more detail. So like I said, with the summary, you've got a very short sentence that the volunteer would see, and I'll show you in a moment, at first glance. But then you also have the option to add more detail about the opportunity. And I would encourage you to use this if you can. It's optional, but at the end of the day, if you can, give someone helpful information about what they'd be doing, where they'd be doing it, why they should do it, what's going to be the benefits, then that's going to increase the likelihood that they'll get in touch with you. And again, it's just thinking about, could someone read it that isn't involved already in volunteering with your group or charity? Is it motivating? Is it easy to read? You've got things like bullet points that you can add in, so do use them if you can. Another quite unique feature, I think, really to Volunteer Cambs that you can complete when you're creating your volunteer opportunity is a custom application form. So this relates to how a volunteer can get in touch with you. Somebody can basically click to say they'd like to join and just give you a kind of short sentence about why, and then you kind of get in touch and talk more. Or you can set it up so that when they click that they'd like to join, they fill in a short form for you. So essentially, this is a way for you to find out a bit more about a potential volunteer. And there's a way where you can say, for example, if you already have an application form for your process, you could duplicate that on Volunteer Cambs to save them having to then go to a different website to fill out a form somewhere else. But essentially, you can see on the box on the left that you give the form a title. So that's because you could have one form for one volunteer opportunity and then a different form for another. So you can kind of tailor them. You pick who will be notified if you get interest. You can set up an auto reply saying, thank you very much for your interest. We'll be back in touch with you within a few days to talk more, something like that, something nice and friendly and engaging. And then you can add your questions. I've done an example on the right where you can see you can ask things very tick box. You can ask where someone can just write open text. You can use a calendar. So there's different ways that you can use this form that hopefully will help you get that information that you need. I think I would flag here that you want to make this as easy as possible for a potential volunteer. And when they sign up, you will be able to see some of their interests just from their profile. So just be a bit mindful of that and try not to ask people to repeat themselves too much, I suppose. It's all about putting ourselves in their shoes as well. And then these next two slides are really kind of explanations of each section, so I won't go through it too much. But again, it's about picking an image that relates to your opportunity to make it stand out, being really clear about what you can offer to the volunteer, for example, reimbursing expenses, explaining any requirements that they need to meet. That might be about DBS checks and how many volunteers that you need for a particular activity. So you can set it to kind of stop recruiting at a particular number. Say, for example, if you need 50 stewards for a run. You've then got the custom application form that I've talked through, as well as activities and causes. So this is very similar to when you set up your organisation profile. So you can select the type of activity that it is. So that might be kind of buddying someone or supervising someone, and the kind of cause that it relates to. So whether that's kind of community or not. So again, they're going to be very broad categories, but it's worth you just having a little look and seeing where you think your opportunity fits in. Again, this links to how a volunteer filters through, but it's not the only way that they can find you. You can also tick if your opportunity is suitable for groups, and that will help corporate volunteers find you if they're looking to do a team day. You can also tick if you'd like it to be visible on GoVip. So GoVip is Peterborough CVS's version of Volunteer Cambs, if you like. So what we've done is enabled it so that groups can sign on to Volunteer Cambs, add their opportunities, tick for it to go onto Peterborough's site, and then you don't have to duplicate. So if you're recruiting across counties, that's a really helpful option for you. You still need to log into Peterborough's website to manage those inquiries, but it just hopefully will save you a little bit of time, and you won't need to set up a new account there either. So you've gone through these things, you've filled it in as much as you can, and then you publish your opportunity. This is what your opportunities would look at kind of at first glance for a volunteer. And I think this kind of emphasises the importance of images. And then you can see it tells the volunteer how much time you're looking for. You've got the title of the opportunity, which is in the bold text, the location, and a little description. And if you get a kind of inquiry or somebody kind of clicks on that join button, you'll get notifications through the profile. So if you look on the right hand side, you've got that little number 1 next to activities. You'll start to get notifications like that.